Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're running up some Jiro, man. And Jiro's a very interesting character because, obviously, we all love our Scythe. And he's got some funky biz he can do on Scythe. Oh shit, what's going on, bro? What's going on? So yeah, Jiro is an interesting case for a Scythe character because his stats are dog shit. A lot of his sigs are pretty dog shit. And yet, he's still very popular, and I think it's just because he's a lot of fun. I love these stats on Scythe, I'm not gonna lie. The stats are dog shit. As I think most of you are aware, high dex and high speed is one of the most mid stat combos in the entire game. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my, if I landed that. Bro, what are we doing? This guy is so annoying. I hate the people who just sit on unarmed. Get your fat ass over there, bro. Nice play. But yeah, I think you guys are aware, like, characters like Lin Fei, they don't do too hot in the meta because, like, yes, speed is a very powerful stat, but if you have high dex and high speed, that's just a worse combo because obviously you need a certain base value of strength and stuff, to get by here as like a good character. And Jiro doesn't have that, but also like high dex, high speed Scythe just feels so solid. High speed Scythe just allows you to flow state off stage so well. And the 7 dex breakpoint, because if you don't know, like dex is not always necessarily a linear curve. 7 dex is a pretty common breakpoint for a lot of characters, and I'll explain that here in a moment. So yeah, 7 dex is actually a very common like dex breakpoint on a lot of weapons. So if you don't know, like dex is not completely linear. It'll lower, so what dex does in the first place is it lowers recover time for all your moves, and that's on hit and on miss. So the most common thing is it'll lower some random shit on miss, right? But we don't really care about the on miss stuff because obviously, in an ideal world, you're landing all your hits. Like, you're landing every attack you go for. This guy loves mashing weapon throws every 2 goddamn seconds. Can we not do that here? In an ideal world, you land all your hits, right? So no one really, it's not fun to, like, focus on, like, the on-miss stats. And that's what is mostly covered by dex. But on certain weapons, like 6 dex on spear, right? That's a breakpoint where side air gets 1 less recovery frame on hit. So that means you can do side air and light true. So that's an example of like a dex breakpoint on a weapon. Spear is affected. If you go 6 dex on spear, you get that combo true. And it's oftentimes not just one combo though. Scythe, for instance, gets 1 less recovery frame on Nair, which is the most important because it allows you to do Nair side air true, which is one of the few Scythe true combos in the entire game. And it also gets a recovery frame on hit for Dare too. And that makes some Dare true combos a lot easier to perform. Like a lot of the wall combos on Scythe are easier on 7 dex. And even some of the grounded combos like Dare Downlight is true at very specific health ranges on Scythe. That's made even easier on 7 dex. So that's why I like 7 dex a lot on Scythe. It really lets you land that stuff. And it also does reduce a lot of the on-miss things, so. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain because there's a certain point in my life where I just freaking knew every goddamn thing about this game. So a lot of that still carries over. But it's hard to explain, you know, that's like second nature. But maybe one day I'll make a video about dex or something if you guys are interested, because even though dex is by far the worst stat in the game, it's probably the most interesting, right? I don't think anyone's really arguing with that. There's just so much you can do with it. And I love finding like little tiny combos that people don't know that are true on certain dex ranges. Like Axe has a few that I'm gonna gatekeep. Gauntlets has not really any. I'm mostly familiar with Axe and guitars because those are obviously the weapons I play the most. But yeah, what else we got going on for this character, man? Because his sigs aren't that great. Some of them are pretty fun, like his down sig's pretty fun. Yeah, his down 6 pretty fun. His sword down 6 pretty fun. That's the thing though, like his sword is kind of just like his secondary. I feel like in a lot of sword characters, that's kind of the case with them. Is it's a great secondary weapon, which I've talked about before because it's just so reliable for killing people. But it's not that fun to like be like your main weapon, I guess, you know? It's just kind of like so cookie cutter, basic. Some people do some really cool shit with sword, don't get me wrong. Like Java has been known, he basically invented the whole like D-like ground pound thing that all the like giant sword sweats do now. That shit didn't really exist before him. I'm not gonna lie, that is unfortunate. But yeah, personally, I'm not much of a sword player. That's just not really my cup of tea, you know? But I think that's enough Jiro talk for the day. I want to talk about some other random stuff that I thought about recently. Because yesterday I was chilling at work, right? And you know, I tend to ask some random ass questions to pass the time, which I'm not sure if it annoys other people, but I genuinely think these questions are really interesting, and we're gonna talk about one here. So here's the proposal. If a NASA astronaut walked up to you right now and was like, yo, would you go to the moon for free? Like, if we offer you a free week trip to the moon, because it takes 3 days to get to the moon, right? It takes 3 days to fly to the moon. If they're like, we'll offer you a free trip to the moon, 3 days out, you chill there for a bit, and then 3 days back, would you take it? And if you're anything like me, that's like the fastest yes ever, bro. Because who the hell wouldn't want to go to the moon for free? You're committing a week of time to go to the moon, and you get to like see the Earth. You get to escape the reality that every single animal and human being that we are aware of has been trapped into for millions of years. And I have some people who will say to my face that they would not take that deal. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Like, you're committing 1 week of your many, many weeks in your life to go and just go to the moon, and you get to see the Earth from a different perspective. I don't know, man. Personally, I'm easily taking that. Now, things get a little more complex when we talk about Mars, because this is usually where the conversation starts. If a NASA astronaut, because I usually just assume people would want to go to the moon in a week, right? But people always manage to blow my mind with their just, how the hell would people not take that deal? But that's enough of that. Usually the conversation starts with Mars. So Mars is a 3-month trip from Earth, which is pretty crazy. That's usually actually how it starts. I start talking about how crazy it is that Mars takes 3 months to get to, but the moon is only 3 days. But like, that's I don't know if I would take that deal, you know, a 3-month trip just to go to, because Mars doesn't have anything on it. Neither does the moon, but at least the moon is only 3 days. Like, I guess that's just where I cross the line. I don't know if that's, like, if I was going alone, I definitely wouldn't take the trip to Mars. Like, we're talking about a free trip to Mars. That shit's gonna take like 6 months, bro. And it's like, especially if you're only there for 1 day. Is it worth it, bro? Like 6 months just to go to Mars for 1 day? I don't know if that's worth it. But like, even if you go to Mars for a month, it's still just like, it's freaking Mars, bro. There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing to do, and you're committing so much time. But it's also like, if I was with all my homies, like, would I then take that trip? I don't know how many people. Like, it couldn't just be like 2 best friends, you know? It'd have to be like a group of like 10 people, and then it'd probably be fun. Or maybe like 4. I don't know. Like, because then you're not, if you go by yourself, there's 0 chance I'm taking that by myself, because a 6-month journey by yourself would probably drive you completely insane. I've seen enough movies to understand that. And that's not really, I'm not really trying to go insane, guys. It's not really that doesn't really float my boat, you know what I'm saying? So that's my conclusion there, is I would go to Mars, but I would not, or I would go to the moon, but I would not go to Mars if I was offered a free trip. Unless I was met with certain stipulations, I guess. So that's my first discussion point for today. The other question I'm going to pose to you guys is, why haven't we normalized just running places, you know? Like, the most common thing is like, I thought about this today when I was leaving the gym. Now I'm on a bit of a time crunch here, and I just spent like 30 minutes failing to record because I was just being a freaking bum, and I don't, you know, I'm not always trying to talk about Brawlhalla, and I think I hesitate to ask the important questions in life, like, would you go to the moon and shit, like stuff like that. Shit like stuff like that. Yes, I make sense. So I just ended up hesitating and shit. And I'm on a time crunch, bro. So I ran to my car after the gym today, and that was about an hour ago. And, you know, other people, the outside perspective is probably like, oh, he's really busy, so it's like, I don't really care. And you should never care what other people think anyways, but we always do, you know? And I don't know, man, like, is that like an American society thing where I can't even just like leisurely stroll to my car just to like chill? Is that a problem? Or is it like not a bad thing to just commit to running because, you know, I'm a healthy human being. I'm a healthy young 19-year-old male. I can run to my car and not be huffing and puffing, and it saves me time, bro. It saves me time. So it's like, we should normalize that. I remember the only time I've really ran like a distance to like, or like the best example I could find of this happening in my life is like, I just got out of school, right? And at my high school, the oh shit, we're getting saucy on him. But the parking lot is pretty far away. It's like a 5-minute walk to the school, and it's all downhill. And I was just like, I really don't feel like taking this long ass walk. I'm just gonna run there. And I probably look like an idiot with my backpack and shit. I'd also like run to school because I'd always be late. But I was also like the only one going up to that parking lot because I didn't get like the senior parking pass ticket, so I got the shitty junior lot still, which is some bullshit because they switched up some things around, but that's besides the point. So I just booked it down to my car. Like, why haven't we normalized that, man? But that's the thing. I think I just kind of thought about this new question though that I just brought up with the like, is that a problem? Is that an issue with like American society being obsessed with time and being busy all the time and stuff? Like, would happy people just leisurely stroll to their cars, or what? Like, I don't know, man. That's got me thinking now. Dodge in again, Goofy. Yeah, that's got me thinking for sure. I don't know. Personally, I think running to your car is a perfectly normal thing, and sometimes you're just on a time crunch and you just want to get home, bro. So that's the conclusion for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I got some Ragnar gameplay cooking up eventually. I'm kind of busy this week. That's why I ran to my car. That's why we'd be talking about this. But yeah, dude, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.